Well, let's start out with there's a lot to deal with. And the first thing is that, we're living in a time of more economic volatility, uncertainty, yet we still have to plan, we still have to forecast, not only for ourselves, but we have to do that for our clients in order to how to serve them. How does that impact, as you're a chief sales officer and you're looking at growing the business, how do you deal with that volatility?
That's really great question. Steve, if I compare how we planned like even 5 to 7 years ago versus today, the difference is dramatic. Back then, forecasting like 1 or 2 years ahead was quite realistic. You could model economic trends, understand what is the situation of the market, what is the dynamic, and make fairly stable assumptions about how your industry would evolve. But today, the level of certainty it's gone. We operate in a world where both the global economy and individual industries are changing at an unprecedented speed, like microeconomic shifts, geopolitical tensions, technological breakthroughs, and new business models can reshape entire markets just like in a week. And that affects every single business, regardless of the sector. So, sure, long term planning hasn't disappeared. It's still important and it should be, but its nature has changed. Instead of building rigid linear plans, we now have to plan aggressively, but with like built-in flexibility and lots of checkpoints and metrics because we as C-level, it's actually our core responsibility to operate in uncertainty. Like I really love the idea to see the elephant in a fog. That means understanding where the industry is likely to head in, even if the path is unclear, and prepare the whole organization for this very direction. So for me personally, long-term growth planning today is less about like precise predictions and more about building resilience, adaptability, and strategic optionality. So you have to ask, what is our plan and how fast can we adjust if the plan breaks? And ironically, that's what makes sustainable growth possible in these volatile times.
You know, listening to you there, and tell me if this is a takeaway that I should be taking away or not, is that to adapt to constant change, constant volatility in the market, where you said things can change, new technologies, AI, adaptations of AI, all kinds of things on a daily, weekly basis can change. What that means for me is we all have to spend a lot more of our time in the market and looking what's going on and how our customers are adapting to it, how it's impacting their needs, their challenges, what they're seeing, how they're adapting to it. Like we've got to do a lot more research than we have ever had. That's kind of my takeaway from what you're saying there.
Yes, sure. From one point of view, like more researches, but at the same time, you just have to realize that research is super important, but you'll never have enough data to make some decisions. Never. It will never happen. And that's just a big mistake. And I see, frankly speaking, on regular basis, how different people, teams, companies make this mistake, unfortunately, like looking for the whole data just to be sure that they go in right direction. But now, when everything changes so fast, it's important to go fast and to work as a startup, even in case you are a super big corporation. So that's why, for sure, it's important to make research to see what's going on the market. But at the same time, it's better to go and to make some super short test and to get real data and then to understand, okay, this hypothesis was wrong. Okay, but now we have real data, we have some experience, so now we'll go in the other direction and to make more, let's call it like micro steps instead of collecting data and then use it to make like super great forecast that will not work because everything will change in a week.